show you the very controversial and the very iconic bread which we call Pan Burikat in the Visayas. In other parts of the country, they call it Pan Regla, or they call it Kalihim, or they call it lipstick. You will see later why this bread earned its name. Let's start. Here are the ingredients. For the dough, 1 cup water, 1 tablespoon instant dry yeast, 1/2 cup sugar, 1 whole egg, 1/3 cup shortening, or you can use butter or you can use margarine, 1/4 cup of powdered milk, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 kilo of bread flour. You can also use all-purpose flour. For the filling, you need 350 to 400 grams of old bread, any kind without filling. You dice it into small cubes. 3/4 cup water or diluted milk. The amount is variable. Sometimes we need to add more, sometimes we need to add less. Depends on the moisture content of your old bread. 1/2 to 2/3 cup of sugar, 1 whole egg, 1 tablespoon vanilla, 1/4 cup margarine, 1 tablespoon red food coloring liquid. I have here water. Dissolve the yeast in water. This is instant dry yeast, so I don't have to wait for 15 minutes for this to bubble. Here, you can see if the yeast is active because you will see it float and you will see small bubbles to show activity. So it means the yeast is alive. Alright. Then we add in egg. And then I have powdered milk. I have sugar. Mix this together. And then I add the salt to the flour. Always remember, don't add the salt directly to the yeast because it will slow down the activity of the yeast. Alright, then I'll put this in. And we mix this for about 1 to 2 minutes at low speed until you form a dough. This dough should not be very soft because it will lose its shape. Alright, you will see that the dough has picked up the flour. So I'm going to add in the shortening. And then we increase the speed to medium. And we continue to mix this for about 10 minutes or until we get the window pane. After 10 minutes, let's check. You pinch off a small portion. When you stretch it slowly. Alright. Here, you're able to stretch this without breaking. And you can see the tip of your fingers. Then, it means you have mixed it enough. Alright. Before I let this rise, I want to show you, just in case you don't have a mixer, what you do when you need is you do this. Push. Then, push the dough. You do this about maybe 15 minutes until the dough is smooth and elastic. Alright. Okay. So, this is what you do. Use the palm of your hand. Push, fold, then push, fold. And you do this repeatedly until the dough is smooth and elastic. Alright? So here, same. Let's put oil. Always put oil to make sure they don't stick. It does not matter how much oil you put in because it's not going to go inside the dough. Alright. I usually put about 1 or 2 tablespoons. And then let's put plastic. If you don't have plastic, please use a damp towel Or if you don't have a damp towel, just get a tray. Just cover this. What is important is you don't expose it to air so that you don't form a skin on top. Let's allow this to rise for 1 hour or until it's double in size. Here for the filling, this looks like cheese disal. Anyway, we cut this into squares. Alright, and then next, we soak it in the milk and the vanilla and the coloring. Then we have the egg. For the sugar, I'm not going to add all of the sugar because I tasted the bread. Some of them are a little bit sweet. So I'll add only like 1/2 instead of 2/3. Okay. Then what we do is we soak that for a few minutes before we start to cook this, so that all of this bread will absorb the milk, so you don't see cubes when you cook this. Alright. We can just add the margarine too. You can melt the margarine if you like, but it's not necessary because once you heat this one, the margarine will melt. So let's leave it as it is for maybe 10 minutes and then we'll get back to this. I have many recipes to share with you. If you're interested, please like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you can be alerted when a new video is uploaded. Let's cook the filling. See? This is what we want to avoid, this one. Okay? Those little cubes, don't worry about them because as you cook, you will be able to flatten them out. This one should be with coloring because that is the reason why it's called Pan Regla or lipstick or Pan Burikat. It's the color red. If you don't like red, then you may not color it, but you won't be able to call it by its name. You just cook this until the mixture thickens, then you flatten out these bread cubes. Alright, this will take maybe like 10 minutes. You need to be patient. Here you can see the filling is almost cooked. You can still see some hard portion of the bread crust, but that's all right. That won't be very visible once you stuff it in. You will know it's cooked because the mixture has thickened. So when you put it in the dough, the filling will not run. Alright, you cook this until, see, it has like a jelly-like consistency. Let me just touch it so you will see. See? It has like a jelly-like consistency and it's shiny. Then this is done. Alright, we will cool this. You can still see small crust, but that's alright. Here is the dough after 1 hour. Let's check. As I said, you can poke your finger in, and if the hole stays, or if you can find a hole, it doesn't close, it means it's ready. Alright? Okay. I'll divide this into 3 portions. You can divide this into 2, but it's easier to handle 3 portions. Here. About 350, more or less. 350, 360. Alright? And you form this into a ball. We have the filling. I divided this into 3. This is 250 grams each. Always smooth side down. Roll this out. What we're trying to make is a narrow dough. So don't roll it that way. You roll it this way. Alright, and this is about 4 inches. This is 4 by 16, more or less. It doesn't have to be very exact. This is just a guide. Next, you brush this with either milk, water, or egg. any liquid so that the filling will not separate from the skin when you bake it. Okay? So here, if this is 16 inches, we roll this out also to 16 inches. Right? Then you put it in. Flatten this. And then wrap it. Like this. And then you let this rest before you cut so that it will not shrink. We will do the next one. Okay. And we have the filling here. Maybe I need to move this. Right. Then don't forget, brush this with either water, milk, or egg. Anything that will stick. Okay, we do the last one the same way. This has rested for 10 minutes. I'll cut this into like 1.5 inch. I use my thumb to measure. So see, you can see the filling. Sometimes they call this lipstick because it looks like the face with the lips, with the red lipstick. If you use a silicone mat, you don't need to put oil. If you use a regular pan, you just brush this with shortening. Alright? You should give space because the dough will still rise. We will let this rise for about 45 minutes. It's raining today. I'm sure you can hear the thunder and the lightning. So this will take a little bit longer. Alright, then we brush it with, this is a mixture of milk and egg. And then just before we bake, we're going to brush this again. This is ready to go inside the oven. So we'll give it one more, the final egg wash. (350 degrees). Let's check after 15 minutes. Right here. Now you can see it's like lipstick. And of course, Pan Regla is self-explanatory. And then they call this Pan Burikat because they say the ladies of the night, they wear red lipstick.